All right, we gotta get to it. Probably should have found my Poxwalker shade. Indeed, Blackstone Fortress it is. Since our Mutilate Vortex Beasts are done, our Thousand Suns list is ready for my game Sunday. Feeling pretty good. I mean, outside of the raspy throat, although I'm not coughing. We also picked up I finally got a small blender brush. Look at that. It's nice. I noticed boxes of Blackstone Fortress are up on Amazon for like $180. Debating grabbing it. We're going to use Poxwalker shade because it's a green shade, which is pretty close to kind of what this model is baseline. I'm going to put it mostly on his skin. Battle Ready seems to be the new moniker for tournament play, at least when Frontline Gaming's involved. Seems interesting. I actually do kind of fully understand the purpose for it. Is it too bright? I need to make some changes here. Gain drop a little bit. The focus need to be better. There we go. We've got a lot of these models to get through. I'm gonna try to record the Warhammer Underworlds match tonight, just to kind of show it off on the channel. I need to learn more. Apparently there's a box set coming out for Underworlds called like the Mirrored Tower or something. They're doing an update to a lot of the older teams to make them fit within the Rivals format. But I don't know how they're releasing it, because I was actually near here. There's a local game store that's selling one of the teams I'm interested in for like 30% off, and it's one of the teams that's in this box. So like, if I can buy the cards separately for them, I'd probably purchase the team, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. I think I might be a little screwed. that. So I'll have to just wait, because I don't want to, like, that, it feels weird. I feel like they're not approaching Underworlds well, if that's the case that happens. They need to release the cards separately. There's no reason for them not to. Because there's going to be people who already own those teams who are just like, why am I buying the team again? But it's my same issue with the boards. I really want the boards for Underworlds without having to buy them. What up, Rax? God, my throat is fucked up. At least I'm not coughing anymore. I'm at that end stage of having a fucked up throat. How went the Final Fantasy VII in Rax? Tifa make any more appearances on your stream? Let's get some scaly green down in areas. Give his skin tone a little bit of an offbeat. Paleness in some areas. Guy out here cooking. You gonna do your salsa stream at some point? This guy's gotta do salsa reviews. You gonna try to find any like local salsas or like weird offbeat salsas to try out? Should probably just do one where it's just all grocery store salsas that might be in more places than just your local grocer. That way there might be some people out there who are like, oh dude, he ate the salsa I eat. Gotta figure out what the fuck to do about this. What do the things on his leg look like? Ow. Dude, you can make it like a 30-minute segment though. Maybe go online and find some of the like big YouTube content creator ones that they've tried and done videos for. Gotta get in that algorithm with minimal effort. It's the way to go. Do, 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 do. I think I already used Talos Bronze. A little too much like elevator music. I feel like a lot of these songs are going to be in a lot of stuff that you're like, oh, I've heard this before. Because these are all like the free YouTube songs. At which point they're probably like just online for free use. At which point video games for indie games or even full on games go like, oh dude, bonus. We have music and we don't have to pay for it. It's like every business's wildest dream. A product people will buy that you don't have to pay for yourself. Probably was. I mean, it's elevator music. Sounds ideal for Deadpool. So I told this that I wanted to listen to funky music. How is NoFX still on this list? Probably just YouTube upgrade screen Deadpool. This guy's definitely almost done though. Happy with that. Fucking crude, man. Nah, cause I don't know. Dude, since I'm coming from Twitch and I'm coming from the realm of, hey, let's split the audio and then not worry about DMCA. And now I'm over on YouTube. I just go to the YouTube Studio back office to the free stuff, and then I just make a playlist, let it run. think I'm going to use Jirachi Purple on his legs. I don't like the flat silver. Draken Shade, maybe. I have Jirachi, though, somewhere. How is NoFX like every single fucking song on this? I've set it to funky. Eh. This is what I want. This is the music. It fucks with this. Someone steal my Druchi? There it is, I think. Yes, Druchi Violet. I think it's spelled Neffix, actually. Neffex. They have a lot of songs. A few of them are like alright for things. I actually use them in my battle reports because it's just metal at that point, which I kind of like. That's the one thing I do miss being over here. I get more viewership here than I do on Twitch just because that's how it works. But like I do miss just being able to be like, hey, let's listen to Static X today. Like, hey, let's throw on some just absolutely ridiculous music. Listen to that for a bit. Then you come over here and it's just like, hey, we want you to not listen to all that. You have to listen to our music, or you could get struck and then it's a problem. It's like, alright, I get it. I feel like this is fine. I'm gonna darken up the front of his beak, though. I wish freaking Wog Flesh was not base. Do I have Absolution Green out right now? I do. No, yeah, it's because even YouTube's weird. I had a playlist I was running for a while that I thought was fine, and then I got a monetization strike for using a song, even though it was on their list of free for use forever. And it's like, huh. Somebody didn't do their homework here. Darken up the front of their beak and the bottom of their jaw. I think the Cruder are going to be pretty cool as a standalone or rather not a standalone, but like a sizable ally faction for the Tau. Stylistically, there's got to be someone out there that loves that whole like tribal hunter look for future type stuff. Alright, so we can finish the Eldari next. Let me get the basing on this guy. The store near me restocked its crackle paste, so I'm not that worried now about running out. Pick one extra one up. That'll sit closed until this thing fully dries. What up, Brad? Yeah, we're trying. I just got batteries in for one of my mirrorless cameras that I completely forgot that I owned. So I'm gonna be able to start posting up better pictures of these because I have the light box and everything for it, the friggin' picture box, but I needed like a mirrorless camera that I could control contrast and stuff on to take like initially good pictures rather than having to like run them through filters and stuff. You're making this Blackstone game sound fun. And knowing that I basically have the models, I think the issue is I have the models. I would need to paint the adversaries that come out of the box, I guess. We're gonna need to brush some of that down. We're gonna need to paint the adversaries out of the box, but then like I'll have the models on top of it that are just there. And then I'll just it's just like extra models, which I guess I could sell. The question is, how much is Blackstone Fortress as a game? Because the Amazon selling of like 170 makes me think maybe it's a scalper price just because they don't sell it through Games Workshop anymore. Like their website just doesn't have it. No, yes, stick with my stream. You'll start hearing music where you're like, oh my god, a channel I watch uses this all the time. Yeah, there's a reason. It's because it's free and no one else used it yet. It's kind of a fun thing though. I kind of like it. I have days where I'm like, I need to find music for stuff, like my my battle reports and things. So I'll just sit down, I'll put my headphones on, and I'll literally just scroll through all of the free music. I'll start picking sections and things, and I'll start favoriting stuff and downloading stuff. And the entire goal is basically like hunting for music, listening to it and being like, oh, this would be perfect for a high tension moment. And then you mark that down. Yeah, so I found one that was like 178, 180. So I'm guessing it's just like a slight upscalp, but like not a lot because it is Blackstone. The main reason people buy it at this point isn't necessarily to play it, it's to get the models to use in the tabletop game to flex on nerds. Because having this guy being your chaplain for your Imperial Guard team is hilarious. Speaking of which, now let's finish the Eldari first. We got really close with her. We're really close with her. I'm gonna need to lime green highlight some stuff, I think. Oh god, I left all my greens at my house because I finished my one Mutalith Vortex Beast. Alright, we're kind of running on high maximum effort. We're gonna Golem in Flesh, her face tone. Golem in Flesh. Trader Guardsman's cool, of course. Urgles, yep. Negavolt, Cultists, and Beastmen. I wonder if I would just paint them faction-wide as Zenithal paints, just to make it quick. Like, you would paint the Trader Guardsman, like, undertone of dark purple with, like, maybe a top-down of, like, a brighter red. Chaos you could do in a similar fashion. The Urgals, I could do, like, as a phosphorescent type glowy Zenithal. Just to do it, right? Just to get it out of the way. She has leather strapping. I think I'm gonna do black leather strapping though. Give it like a... Actually, Leviathan blue would be good. I still love Leviathan blue as a leather. I've told a lot of the people at the local store about Leviathan blue as using it instead of black leather. To be like, oh, it just looks better. And I've seen in the local Discord a few posts, people putting up of like, oh, check this out. And then it's using Leviathan blue as the black leather. And people are like, wow, that black looks so good. He's like, yeah, it's because it's not black. And I'm like, yep. It's exactly how I told you to do it. It's excellent. Leviathan blue. For those who want a really dark item without it just being flat black and stupid looking. Well, I have the amble, so that's good. Because the amble is pretty cool looking. Do I want the rest of her tassels to also be dark leather? No problem, Tired. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I can get some more videos out to you guys soon. I'm trying to record a Warhammer Underworlds video for people interested in that. But as you can hear, my voice is kind of messed up. So I might record it at least, and then if my voice clears up by this weekend, I can try to get it together. But I also don't really have a strategy to how to make an Underworlds battle report look. That's kind of a big issue for me right now, is that I need to do that. I have no layouts for it, I have nothing. I'm also trying to reassess how to do the Kill Team battle reports so that they're faster, because they need to be faster. They 100% need to be faster. No, yeah, it looks good. Blackstone looks good. It looks like it could be fun to play. Because Hexagonal is Underworlds as well, and Hexagonal is this, the Combat Patrol. So, like, having that for both of them is kind of cool, actually. Let's do the big tassels with it as well. And I want to do the big tassels as something different. And I like hexagonal. I think hexagonal games are pretty decent for strategy. Like BattleTech is a hexagonal. The old Heavy Arms, I think, not Heavy Arms, Heavy Gear. I think that used to be hexagonal. I loved that game. I played the computer game for it, dude. That was back when like computer mech games for computers were more simulation than anything else. That was actually kind of cool. I miss those days, man. I get why they've changed it. I get why they changed it, because basically all games need to be simplified to maximize the highest potential for audience. Because, you know, you need to make money or else your company is going to go under and then no more games. So that kind of sucks. But like back in the day, before people were all that like worried about that, you got games like I think it was Heavy Gear. I'm pretty sure it was called Heavy Gear, where the actual way you would play Heavy Gear is you needed to take your keyboard and turn it sideways, because the movement keys were on your numpad and they were actually turned because they wanted you to move forward with, what is it? Oh, I don't have a numpad here. What was it? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It was forward was 6, 2 was right, 8 was left, and back was 4. So like you would turn your keyboard sideways so you could use the numpad for directions, but then all the keys below were bound to tons of systems in your mech. Different types of vision, different types of zooms, different types of targeting systems, different types of mobilities. The ability to increase and decrease certain power outputs into certain directions so you could push your speed versus your accuracies. Your radar you could increase greatly, and you could even ping things, which opened you up to being known where you are. So like there was all this incredible sort of like simulation function to the game that was just really cool, I thought. And I loved playing it, because when you played missions in that game and they had like simulated weather effects and all that, it felt so good. All right, what we're gonna do, is the mixing ball in this? All right, I'm gonna mix up Jungle Green, because Jungle Green has an issue with its medium. We're gonna try to highlight with Jungle Green, because I feel like it's brighter than Moot Green, but you have to be able to like do it. Because Moot Green's like a good middle of the road green, but like Jungle Green is just drastically brighter. Question is, if I squeeze this, okay, it came out as pigment, not a lot of medium. I'm gonna need to change out my wet palette. I love this wet palette because it's small and highly usable. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. It's small and usable, but like when you're really getting into multiple types of things, it's a detriment. It just is. I have a giant wet palette, which is what I should be using. It's like 1 foot by 1.5 foot in size. Technically, it would take up this whole bottom area, and it could look cool. All right, we're gonna use a bright yellow as well as a specular light for all these green armor pieces. We got a lot of gemstoning to make as well. Man, I still need to finish the Rogue Trader game. Rogue Trader was actually really cool. My issue is, since I started playing it, they've rebalanced a lot of it. They've made a lot of changes. They've altered a lot of AIs to be a little bit more like suitable for combat and stuff. They've changed how certain abilities work to make them more or less viable. And now I want to re-roll. Like, I want to start again, but like I'm so far in the game that it's like, oh, do I re-roll? Because it's the same thing. Baldur's Gate 3, I'm like close to the end with one of my saves. And it's one of those games where it's like, I like it, but I don't want to go back and play it again. I just don't. Like, I want to get one really good run in and then be like, wow, that was awesome. And then just be done. And now that they've done all the changes and updates and things, I'm like, oh, I kind of want to go back and start again from the beginning, do a different build. Especially since I found out that the build I went completely by accident, because I don't really play D&D like this. I completely stumbled into like a god tier build. I was playing it, I was like, wow, this feels really strong, but I imagine everything else is really strong too. And then I started seeing YouTube videos that were like, hey, you want to know what the strongest build in this game is? Check this out. And it's literally my build. And I'm like, oh, son of a bitch. Like, I didn't want this. I didn't ask for this. I have another fun build idea that I might try with a second game, but I don't know. We'll see. Look at you cheerleading. I guess we can try and talk about my army list I'm going to try to take in on Sunday. I'm playing against a guy who plays Imperial Guard or Black Templar, but he mostly plays Imperial Guard, so I'm imagining Imperial Guard. I'm not trying to build this list to beat him, though, just to be clear. I'm not trying to design for my opponent. I'm mostly just trying to meme on some kids. I think I'm gonna give her black gloves. Slap it like the base. So let me pull my list up over here so I can tell you guys about it. I'm calling it Taste the Rainbow. It consists of a Magnus the Red, so we've already got my character, my main character established, you know. Hero Hammer. It's the first time I'm going to be using Magnus. Speaking of which, I got to make sure I take the cards home. It's the first time I'm going to be using Magnus because I've been adamant at the store about, you know, like not just running into some of the strongest elements of my team and instead learn my team from like the smaller end and just work upward. Well, now we're doing the upward, but we're doing it in a way that isn't necessarily strong. Because normally with this, you got that one squad Terminators. You got all the rubrics, you got all the sorcerers, you're rocking like 20 Cabal points, and it's great. We're not doing that here. So, Magnus the Red in. Thousand Suns Demon Prince. This is the on-foot version that provides stealth. Ben Uwe? Benui. Neat. So this is the version that just provides the -1 to hit from ranged, as well as the in cover and all that, I think. I don't know if... Does stealth provide benefit of cover at all times? Can't remember. I need to look it up. I don't think it does. To the internet. No, it's just the hit roll. Okay, yeah, that's perfectly fine. Which is good. Because then you got Magnus with his -1 damage taken, and then a Demon Prince with -1 to hit rolls. It's massively defensive as a double aura, which is great. Then I have 2 Zangor Shaman. Now, the Demon Prince has the Arcane Vortex upgrade, which makes his sword extremely powerful in melee. One of the Zangor Shamans has the Athenian Scrolls. That's the +1 to Cabal point function. Always good. I'll have to try to mark that person. And the other has an Umbrellific Crystal, and I'm going to be throwing that one, I think, in... well, we'll get into that in a second, actually. So we have 2 squad Zangors. Just basic. They do the missions. They exist. There's really not much else that can be said about them. Because they're Zangors. Here's some slap bass. Then we have the pièce de résistance. Triple Mutalith Vortex Beasts. The ones we literally just finished painting. The final 2 that I needed. So I have all 3 of them, and I want to use them all at the same time. Now, for those curious, those who are unfamiliar with 40k, games are played to points values. Basically, every unit in the game costs X amount of points. And normally, what you want is you want those points to like not go too crazy. You want to be able to fit like a lot in with like most of your points. We're playing a 2,000 point game, which normally puts a lot of units on the field. You know, you can get some good stuff out there, bulk stuff. Well, quarter of my army is literally one of my leaders in all 3 of these Mutalith Vortex Beasts. So we're already not doing great in trying to like maintain points values. So that's not the point of this list. This list is to meme on kids. I'm liking this. So we got 3 of them, because the old Mutalith Vortex Beasts, you used to only be able to use... There was a weapon that had 3 profiles. In 9th edition, you could only use 1 profile per Mutalith Vortex Beast. So you had the 1 anti-tank, the 1 anti-infantry, and the 1 close-range anti. Which, dude, hit up Tinder. Just do the, take the RGT approach. But now I can do all 3 of those all at the same time, which is fantastic. And if you spread them out, that's mortal wounds going everywhere. It's awesome. 2 squads, 1,000 Sun Chaos spawns. I've had success with them on the 1,000 Sun team because it's a good feel no pain on top of a good invulnerable save, which is fantastic. They are tanky as hell. 2 1,000 Sun Forge Fiends. These are the full plasma cannon variants. These are going to try to sit back and like hold the back line while just shoving plasma downfield and trying to blow tanks up and kill infantry and do whatever. It's hella casino cannon though, because I can do a minimum of 3 shots or a maximum of 9. Zangors, they do exist. And in this instance, the last 2 things I have on this team, Zangor Enlightened. Dude, do plenty of fish. The Christian one. Those girls be desperate. I think that should be the Christian one, right? Or is that the Jewish one? No, J-Date's the Jewish one. Plenty of Fish, I'm pretty sure, is the Christian one. Just ask how RGT does it. Because he lowers his bar and he just goes ham. So, Zangor Enlightened. I have a squad of spears and a squad of archers. I'm trying to figure out who should get the teleport. Because if I give the teleport to the spears, they can teleport in my turn and then potentially fail the charge, which I am not into. Or I give it to the archers, who then teleport to a spot that's like safe to achieve a goal while then shooting at a unit with a hero in it with their bows. I'm not sure what to do here. I'm thinking the cool thing about 10th edition is you can kind of decide later, right? You decide where your champions are going to go after a certain point. So like, hang on, phone call. So yeah, so the idea with the shaman leaders is that if I give you don't put leaders in squads until the game starts, which means I have one leader with a teleport, one leader with the +1 to Cabal points. I have enough Cabal points to do double move, I think, Doombolt. Man, it's been forever since I've played the Thousand Suns. Where you at, Doombolt? So Doombolt 7. Magnus is 4. And then the Demon Prince is 3. So that's right there. Then we get the 2 extra from the Shaman, +1 from the Shaman with the scroll, taking me to 10. And then we get potentially +1 or possibly 2 from the Zangors based on a roll, giving me about 11 points, which, as most people who play Thousand Suns will tell you, is completely garbage, and you shouldn't do that. But I am, so fuck them. You can't tell me how to live my life. There's a lot going on with that, because I don't want to rely on Cabal points. I realize it's one of the big things for the army, and technically what I just told you will give me the ability to turn off an armor save, which is massively good against Imperial Guard, and I need to be thinking of doing that. I'm most likely not going to be doombolting things. It's probably going to be down to shutting off tank armor saves and then trying to wipe the tank out with like some fire, but maybe not. It depends, because my big anti-tank is my Mutilith Vortex Beasts, which can all shoot the same anti-tank weapon. Which, to those who aren't familiar, D6 plus... Oh no, that's something else. 1 attack, which sucks. That does suck. It's basically a las cannon, and I've always hated that. 3+ to hit, 24 inches, which isn't bad. Strength, 18. That is pretty god tier for a strength on a weapon. AP 4, which against a lot of Imperial Guard tanks is, hey, you're not making any saves anyway. Damage, D6 plus 6, which is insane. and that has dev wounds on it. So I think it'll be fine. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure it'll be fine, but I think it'll be fine. As long as I take out his heavy hitter tanks like right away and to prevent any incoming damage to my leaders, I should be fine. I shouldn't need to Doom Bolt. I shouldn't need to reduce armor. So most likely what I'm going to have to do is reposition some of my Mutilith Vortex Beasts using double move to try to take out a tank. I think I want to put the teleport on the Spear Wielders. Because if I can put the Spear Wielders in a spot that's going to pull one of his vehicles out, or to make him go like, I can't leave, I have to stay here, and then I can like fly in and try to kill them. The Spear Wielder Enlightened Zangors are actually really good at melee. Especially with a Shaman at the lead. So they have Divining Spears, which have Lance, which gives them +1 to the wound roll when they charge. They also have Precision, so they could kill a leader with that. It's great. But they attack 3 times each for 6 people. So 18 attacks at Strength 5, which is pretty good against like general stuff. But against tanks, you're only really wounding the tanks on a 6 anyway. But because of Lance on a charge, you're wounding them on 5, which is great. AP2 damage 1. Not the best at killing tanks, but pretty good to finish a tank off that might be already hit and wounded. Great at killing guardsmen. These guys will just rush in and just annihilate guardsmen all day long. And then, of course, they have their malign trickery, letting them react move if a tank gets too close, which is amazing until you roll a 1 and then it's useless. So, you know how it is. The dice do be the dice. I think this list will be fun, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna lose. Like I have no delusions about what's about to happen tomorrow or on Sunday. I'm pretty sure my team's gonna lose, but I feel like it's gonna be fun. Cause like you're gonna have the one round, right, where the person I'm playing against is gonna put everything into one of my Mutilith Vortex Beasts, and it's gonna live, and he's gonna be like, "What the hell?" And then I'm just gonna run over and start killing stuff. And we're like, "Oh, cool, you did all that work. Congratulations." And then I'm just gonna rush him down, murder. And if I can use his target acquisition issues that he's gonna have to my advantage, I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of good work done. Because Chaos Spawn are actually really good. Chaos Spawn are insanely good for what they're cost. And if he's not shooting at my Chaos Spawn for 2 turns, they're gonna be achieving goals at like an increased speed. That is just uncommon. I have a lot of plans. And as Warhammer 40k goes, those plans are always great on paper. Let's see how we execute them. Because the thing is, I would have said the exact same thing, right? When I first played against this guy with my Helldrake list. My double Helldrakes. Because Helldrakes at the time, everyone was like, aircraft suck. Don't take aircraft. They're useless. And I was like, I was in that boat. I was like, yeah, I can see that. There was basically no reason to use Helldrakes at all, just because of how bad they were. But, you know, I owned 2 of them, so I might as well use them. And man, the abject dominance I applied on the field. And of course, I have Magnus on this list, and Magnus, according to a lot of people, on his own can achieve so much. Like, he's well worth the points. There's been even like people who play Thousand Suns heavily are like, yo, they could increase his points to 600, he would still be worth it. And I kind of agree. I mean, statistically speaking. The benefits he provides in the Thousand Suns are just way too strong.
Poggers.
Poggers. Dave Carl. I need to grab my tea out of the fridge. I'm getting thirsty. I think I'm going to give her black boots as well, like the bottom of the boots. Because she has those like leg stirrup straps going down over top of the boots. But I feel like they need to be a different color. And I realize most of what I'm doing for her armor color is kind of like lore heresy. She's a Pathfinder, but you kind of painted her like a scorpion. What's wrong with you? I don't care. These are not my problems. What up, Arturo? So yeah, I gotta pack up all the units I'm gonna need for tomorrow. I gotta make sure I have the card, or keep saying tomorrow. The game's Sunday. We're gonna pre-shade this, I think, before we put the silver on it. Let's do Basilica Gray on it. Actually, oh no, yeah. Nah. So we have a lot of white. The issue is if you're using a lot of white and you go silver, it kind of just like looks more white, basically, like shiny white. So what I'm thinking of doing instead, which is going to be yet another, like, why are you doing that moment. We're going to grab some Garagax. I'm going to hit the tube with the Garagax. For those who don't know, Garagax is God tier. Everyone's paint collection should involve Garagax. You can get to so many good outcomes with just Garagax alone. Looks like Josie Woe put out the Boomer versus Zoomer stuff I suggested. I actually managed to get the thumbnail together for it soon enough too that it kind of worked out, which is nice. It's nice. It's nice. How's everyone doing in chat, though? You guys doing good? That's good. I'm doing okay beyond the whole messed up voice concept. I'm gonna clear this. I'm clearing this friggin' wet palette. What'd you make? Because you've been You've been cooking for an hour. You baking? You making lasagna? Lasagne? Don't you dare roll up. Stupid wet palette. Alright, where's my enchanted silver? I'm gonna debate sweet fire chicken. Alright, we're gonna debate making her dagger a power weapon. Did you bring enough for everyone? Let's get these silvering details done. No, you just fixed your PC. Stop. Cease and desist. Ugh. Because it's an Xbox Series X, bro. And you vaped into it. Praise the Omnisaya. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get out to too many games as well. Gotta stop being so horny, man. Can't be this horny on main all the time. I have so much gemstoning to do. God. It's like the one main thing I do not like about the Eldari. The sheer detail of gemstoning you have to pull off to make it look like even remotely good. But at least I'm used to it because Thousand Suns are very close to the same issue. Pin wash some Poxwalker. Punch up some of the edge highlighting. I think we're gonna do. We'll do a power weapon. You make sure the surface is ready. Like Reggie's body. Let me consider the kind of power weapon it's gonna be. I'm thinking. I don't know. We can try to use one of the fluorescent colors. Maybe we'll start with like a fluorescent pink. And then we will try to wet mix some Luxion purple into it. I think that'll work out. I love it when the paint that I'm using is like brighter than white, so you guys can't see it on camera. Like, it's so hard to pull off, man. Like, I look over and this blade's just glowing, and it's not supposed to be. We could try to make this iridescent a little too once we're done with the base colors. I think iridescenting power weapons is a decent practice. Doesn't need to be done all the time, but it can create some cool effects. Because I have all those shifters, but I actually have some pearlescent inks, which do really well. Okay, so the trick with this is you're not supposed to hit like all the areas with it. You kind of want to find good spots to like lay it in. You're almost applying it like tattoo ink in a way. quick, simple little power weapon. Come over here. Try and figure out where the hell I put my pearlescent ink. Got it. Amsterdam. This is actually a good brand of ink. I've used it a lot through my airbrush as well as direct application. They have a lot of really cool colors too. They have like multiple tinted pearlescents, which are basically shifters. I mean, shifter is just pearlescent. Gives the blade a different general feel. Airbrushing's pretty good. It's almost therapeutic. You can do some cool stuff with it. It has a lot of interesting uses too. I didn't just buy it for the miniatures. You can also do some cool things with 2D art. Like the illustrations that I do. You can apply like fairly even surfaces of color to then draw over top of. You can kind of knock some of the visual aesthetics of areas like decently up using some vibrant colors. It's pretty cool. Because if you apply brush strokes to something, you usually see the bristles. But if you airbrush it to a decent degree, it almost looks like inhuman in a way. Like almost like impossibly achievable with just regular means, which is kind of what you want. Because it creates a level of like, ooh, I'm interested in that kind of situation. But from the perspective of miniature painting, you can also do fun things like underlight type situations by simply airbrushing top down for the zenithal and then leaving the underglow active that you've applied. Dude, if he doesn't have a hood in the mall and he's airbrushing stuff, he's just doing it to get high as hell. Because the compound that happens, the compound that's used in the airbrush is basically alcohol. Like most thinners are just alcohol. Do, 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 do. Like if you don't have proper ventilation and you're friggin' airbrushing, you're messing yourself up. Also, if he's airbrushing while not knowing how to airbrush and he's using the wrong things, he could be giving himself cobalt or lead poisoning. You gotta be careful with it. It's not like just a, you know, do whatever situation. it's important to always read instructions. Just trying to quickly wet on wet blend. In theory, right now, we're actually using a Bob Ross approach to painting. His classic wet on wet blend approach. Gotta be a little quick with it though with these materials. If you're too slow, it'll dry. Like most of the surface right now is dry, so I'm only kind of doing it. Well, paint guns are the same way. You still have to, if it's any kind of aerosoled paint, you have to run chemicals through it to loosen up the pigment enough that it's going to just work as it passes through. So like paint guns, all of it. Because I can hook a paint gun to my compressor. It's still technically an airbrush. It's just less controllable. I have a rolling container for my paints and stuff. These all go, it's literally a 3-tiered metal container on wheels that I can just move around my little office space here. Usually when I'm done a big project, I eventually get to a point where I'm like, all right, let me clear some of this off, and then I'll have to, you know, spend time doing that. Probably shouldn't be silvering these gems yet. They're not all based. There's still a few of them that I need to hit with other colors. I mean, technically my my Wacom monitor is right over here with a piece of wood in front of it to prevent it from getting paint on it.
Go back.
No, it does. Especially if you're doing, like, too much multiple stuff. Like, multiple colors. Because the trick is when you're moving through, like, the Blackstone Fortress stuff like this, and you have to do, like, this. Right? And then you do, like, one of these. This. Like, you're literally just like, alright, let me grab all my reds. And then you're done with the reds, but you don't see the point in putting them away, because then you look at other stuff and you're like, well, she's probably going to need a red or two. Maybe this guy might need a red. So you just leave them out. Alright, we gotta get some gold down on here. Meanwhile, I've got like Baharoth blue and like all this other stuff down that I haven't touched yet for any of the other characters other than like the Anvil. But like I know I'm gonna use Baharoth on the Servo Pope here. That's gonna happen. It's just when am I gonna start working on them? silver on this lens. Let's get some gold down. We're gonna use glittering gold, I think, or whatever the bright one is. Bright gold, hoplite gold. No, yeah, that can greatly help limit colors if everybody's kind of the same. It depends on the team, though. Golden armor. Golden armor. Let's do golden armor. Because the trick is, I painted the Gellerpox, and I tried to paint the Gellerpox in a way where, like, the Hulks all had, like, a different feel to them in terms of their skin toning and stuff. Because I wanted them to look like slightly different mutations. So, like, in that instance, it didn't really work out in my favor. But for the most part, I've tried to unify my kill teams. Oh no, Nefix. Skip. It's good though. I've actually really liked Kill Team for the fact that I can challenge myself every time I start a paint job on something. Like when I set out to finish a team, I always try to like establish a pre-existing goal for my salvagers, for instance, like the Votan. I kind of walked into it with like, I want to figure out underlighting. So that's what I did. I had already attempted an underlighting concept with Archeon and my Abaddon models, but like I didn't exactly like it. The Archeon I think did really well, the Abaddon not so much. But at the same time, I feel like the Archeon model I painted took so long, and there was probably a way to speed it up. So that was kind of the hope when I painted my my Votan, to be like, oh, this is how you do it faster. And I achieved that. I actually really liked how they came out, to the point where I did my scouts the same way, and the scouts even were faster than that. So it like really worked out. I really like how it kind of panned out in the end. Are you doing any? I feel like if I ever did Word Bearer again, OSL would be my thing. Like I have all these tools where I know my tools, which would make me want to do things to my word bearers that I would regret, right? Like I have a Dremel tool, and my immediate thought when someone's like, yo, you want to paint word bearers, is I'm gonna go get my Dremel tool and I'm gonna pre-carve like a lot of text into all of their armor pieces. Like before I even glue them together, I'm going to get the sprue out, and then I'm going to find parts where I'm like, oh, dude, an armor piece or wording would look good on this piece of his armor. Wording would look good on this piece here. And then just like jump around a bunch. Kind of doing all that. I feel like I want this stock to be different. I went with green because I thought green would be fine, but I have an idea. The gun stock needs to stand out and not just be her armor color. Because I've with my recent challenge was my Warhammer Underworlds characters, where I wanted to attempt. I don't know if you've ever seen on like YouTube or anything. There are some people who try and basically water down paint. They usually water down or thin white oil paint. And then they try to flow the white oil paint into recessed surfaces to do like underlighting, to do like a recessed lighting, basically. And I think that looks really cool, but I was watching someone do it, and I was like, I think there's another way to do it that's possibly faster than what they're showing. And I tried it. I actually tried it on my Underworlds characters, and it worked. You have to control it a little, but it works. And it's to slightly water down titanium white ink, and then put it basically on the end of a pin brush, and just tap areas with recesses that you want to go white, and it'll do it. And then when you're done that, you can do the same thing. These already have thinner in them, so it works out. Fluorescent paints, you can just tap the same way into those areas, and they'll go in and basically super brighten on the white, which is really cool. Or you can do inks in that same fashion. So where is it? So my ever favorite lime green ink, you can basically run this in the exact same way you run the white over top of the white, and it becomes this like radioactive green, which is really nice. Yeah, it's a similar concept, except rather than doing it as like a shader where you're darkening the internal edges, you're doing it as a brightener to try to make it look more magical, thematic, stuff like that. All right, let's keep going with the gold now. Because like a lot of armor and stuff in 40k has recesses, and you can actually use those to your advantage when you're trying to create really cool effects. Inks are good. I don't use them a lot, but they're good. They do some cool effects. The big ones are usually lighting related. Like you'll see people who talk about doing like OSL stuff, and the way they do OSL is once they get the thing done, they'll take an airbrush, they'll take white ink, and they will lightly spray the white ink in like a way that the light would cast, and then they'll pick like a color to be the light, and then they'll hit it that way. And it's very simple, and it works. Quick little two-step, and because it's ink, it's actually designed to just flow through airbrushes without much effort. It also doesn't have a lot of like the bad chemicals in it. I mean, it just like anything else, you'll want to wear a mask. I'm not going to tell you like don't wear a mask. It doesn't matter. No. Definitely, you know, keep your lungs safe. Do that. What I will say is when you're flowing it through an airbrush, you really don't have to use thinner or anything or flow improver. It just works. Great. Trying to find where the connector goes. But you also don't need them. But like I've found through like research that things you can do with inks sort of take the place of a lot of purchasable standalone things. Like if you're familiar with the Citadel paint line, you're probably familiar with, if I can find them, I was literally just using them. You're probably familiar with shaders, you know, like Draken Shade and stuff like that. Ugh. Talking too much. You can water down inks and achieve the same output, or even hit inks with different mediums and achieve the same output as shaders. Like real easy, which means if you know the Citadel shaders, there's only so many. There's not a lot of shaders to choose from. Shaders tend to be very limited. You get like specific colors and that's it. It's cool to see other companies coming out with tones and shades that are like weird and different. The Fnatic line for army painters coming out with a magenta shader, which is really cool sounding. Because I do love me some magenta. But if you had the right medium to thin down the ink, I could just use a magenta ink and achieve the same thing. Ink actively looks to find the most shallow area of whatever you're working on. You can thin the ink with water and you're fine. Yeah. That's what I did when I did my my white underglow stuff for my I posted them I think on Discord and my Twitter. My Underworlds models. The bases on those models had like cracked in effects and stuff, and I just would take it and just boop, 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 and just go. Yeah, you people in your church of the Nolan oil. Dude, it's wild. Do you know what YouTube video started telling everyone in the world to just cover everything in Nolan oil and it makes it look better? Because, like, holy crap. I didn't expect it, but, like, the more I've been around, the more I've been seeing people be like, yeah, then you just apply Nolan oil. And I'm like, why do you apply Nolan oil? It makes everything better. It's like, okay, it has its place, and stylistically, if you like how it looks, go for it. But I would say, look into Draken Shade and Druchii Purple as well. Those make really good shaders because it's light, like it's color. Going the approach of Nuln Oil is how you just make something look like a comic book character, because the inner shades are just black, which means it's a very sharp darkness. Rax exists on an exclusive diet of Nuln Oil. Up that to gold from silver. I think we'll highlight some of the blue leather as well. Should have my deep blue out here. Where the hell did it go? Yet another color where it's like, I know I had it. Where did I put it? Where is she? Oh yeah. I actually really like Agrax Earthshade. I use it for like grime a lot, because if you overload that shader onto a brush and hit like a flat metal surface on a tank with it and let it drip down, it just looks so good. Same thing with Nuln. My introduction to Nuln Oil was literally using it to make it look like oil. Not to just quickly and easily make like a dark shadow, but like I took like a big brush like this, and I dipped it really hard into the Nuln Oil, and then I had a big piece of terrain, and I found a vent, and I just touched it on the vent, and then it dripped clean down. I just let gravity do its work, and it actually looked like dripping oil, and I was like, yeah, this works. Because Nuln Oil is just, it's black with lacquer in it. It's basically black ink that's been heavily watered down. So, just like ink, it has a shimmer to it and a shine. Yeah, all the companies that I've been watching create new things. It's been fun watching them try to develop, like, fun, interesting ways to approach effects. They've done pretty good too. I've liked a lot of them. What's everyone's favorite standalone effect paint? That's a specific. It's a standalone effect paint. You're not looking at having to add extra steps to it to make it work. What is your favorite standalone effect paint? I feel like a lot of people are going to say like Blood for the Blood God just because it's decent, but like in my opinion that I think it's called Uhu, UHU glue. I prefer the Uhu approach where you just put red pigment in it and then you cover the item in the Uhu to make it look like gooey and disgusting. I love that method. I really want to start using it more, but Thousand Suns aren't exactly blood covered. If I played World Eaters, I would have a small investment in Uhu right now. My favorite standalone effect paint. Nihilic Oxide. This is I love this. I love this so much. Because what it does to your bronze and your brassing. Let me try to focus this, and then I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. Look at that brass. It's literally brass, and then I pin nihilic oxide into it. So when it dries, it like only goes to the inner edges, and it makes it look like oxidized metallic. It's such a good frickin' paint. If you do anything in brass or bronze, you want to use nihilic. Look at that. Try to focus this even better. There you go. Look at that. That looks like actual metal. It's just so good. Part of me wanted to make Death Guard. Part of me wanted to build a Death Guard army, and I wanted to make them all brass and just douse them in nihilic oxide. All right, I'm gonna be right back. Yeah. Bring the BRB screen up. Yeah, be right back. All right, I'm back. Yeah, people like a lot of the Rust ones. Rust ones are decent. End of the day, though, Rust ones are kind of mostly about, like, just texture. Really? Like, you can almost develop a Rust-based paint exclusively from just getting a texture paint that's, like, a really fine kind of... really fine grit, basically. And then you can mix whatever color you want on top of it. You can make very unique looking rusts, very alien rusts. It's the typhus corrosion method. Because typhus corrosion is a very fine particle. Like, it's just super fine. I believe the way I've seen use it, and I think I used it maybe once or twice, is if you have a unit with a flamethrower, what you can do is you typhus corrosion the end of the flamethrower, let it dry for a bit, and then you want to go back over it with like dark blues and black to make it look like crisp. Just like a crispy, burnt metal look. Get that warp block bronze on there. There we go. It's a good technique, though. I think it's really worth taking a look at. Although I want to, next time I start painting like flamethrowery items, I want to really get into that that oil slick look where the metal is like a regular metal, but then the closer to the tip of the flamethrower it gets, it starts doing that thing where it goes from like purples to reds to blues. Like I want to nail that look. That look is so beautiful for like flamethrowers and meltas. Like, I feel like going my crisp metal look is almost a cop-out for actually doing, like, a good oil-slicked burn look. Where is it? There it is.
She got a body like a goddess, and she talks so sweet. It's like I can't believe I'm the one that she wanted. And if I'm really being honest, I know I could be everything she needs if she let me get on it. Yeah. So come here, baby, listen close, hold me tight.
There we go.
Let me go. Girl, you know that I'm
With that ivory feel. Yeah, you can do it with toned metal, or you can do it with watered down contrast over a bright metal. It depends on the time of year when I stream. Normally my schedule was middays, Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays, but my parents are back from Florida and they've been needing help building up their new house and getting that all ready. So like a lot of that's taken precedent over me streaming. So these past couple weeks I've been sort of stream when I can mode, which isn't the best. Because YouTube and like other situations don't like that sporadic type of setup where it's like, oh yeah, I stream when I stream. Hopefully we can go back to a more scheduled approach and then maybe even get like better times in a day. I don't know. Because doing it now is not great. But you can join the Discord if you're part of like Discord stuff, or follow my Twitter or something, because that's usually where I tell people what's going on schedule-wise, streams and things. And we have a lot of painting to get through, so we might be doing a lot of painting streams, but there's also stuff I've been working on to try to be able to do like gaming streams. Specifically tabletop gaming over here on this channel. Still don't know if I want to revive my like video game stream channel, because like I gotta look at how much time I have in a day and then think about it that way. And man, I haven't been able to get a video out recently because I just don't have the time, and I really should. Here, one of these grenades needs gemstones. Something I do think we need to do is edge highlight. With a really light amount of yellow. Like a light yellow too, not like a high pigment yellow, but a low pigment yellow. Alright, playlist. Forward. Scroll up. Boom. Personally, I would like a more consistent stream schedule, but I just can't have that right now. Beautiful. Beautiful. Start doing gemstone work. I gotta pull all the gemstoning special stuff. Waystone green, which we probably won't use too much of since most of this unit's green anyway. We need the red and the blue. Spirit stone. Soul stone. Perfect. Now these are the standards that Games Workshop puts out. Apparently what you kind of want to do if you want to customize is to just get some Ard coat or some other kind of high gloss medium and then just mix a pigment into it that you want. Do it over top of silver. This is sort of how to quickly do a gemstone. I know most people are like, oh, you do gemstones these ways, and it makes it kind of flat, and that's about it. That's fine, if that's the way you want to go. I like the idea of the gemstone kind of changing based on how the light in the general room is. Just adjusting it slightly in both look and feel. Because then that actually makes it look like a stone, in my opinion. I think this whole entire thing right here is actually a stone. On the bottom, her medallion. So yeah, I prefer this method for gemstoning. Just because it's like kind of easy. Let me adjust the gain for you guys because I feel like it's a little bright. Maybe work on the focus. Jesus. Jesus. Sweet. So many gemstones. Phone call. Got a hoagie. Whole ass hoagie. Not a bad run today. We finished up the Kroot right away, which didn't take long. And we finished up the Aldari. Well, they're close to finish. They still need their basing done. I don't even know if this guy's base is dry yet. I see most of the crackling, so it probably is. We don't have to do it right away. We can let it cure overnight. No rush. No rush. What time is it? 2:02. Got a little bit of time left. I can chill and think of how I want to approach the next model. So many gemstones. We kind of started the this one. We did the basic leather effect on it with the Leviathan, but I don't know if I want to go that route. We also started Servo Pope, but I kind of want to work on these guys because I've always been interested in the Ratlings, the basically Imperial Guard Skaven. That's always been a key interest to me. I'm very much in the camp of Ratlings should have an entirely solo faction. Someone call me again. No. Where's my basing knife? I literally just used it. Where did it go? Ah, there it is. The rest of the Blackstone Fortress guys are hiding it. Trick with this basing material is I need to grab a brush, need to put a little water on it, and I need to clear it off the parts of the actual model. Hell yeah. Kroot and Eldari. Together at last. I'm gonna try these guys. Let me go grab my beverage. I haven't really drank pretty much anything all day. My throat's getting a little weird feeling. You guys are cool looking. They're small, so in my head I'm like, there's no way they're gonna take forever to paint. They're gonna take forever to paint. It's 100% gonna happen. Nom nom. Banana peppers on an Italian sub. Shit's my jam. Alright, where's my golem in the flesh? Let's go with a smaller brush. Get you guys that focus on the micro man. Dude, he's the ultimate short king. The shortest of short kings. They should really get their own sub-faction in the Imperial Guard, kind of like Harlequins for Eldari. They gotta make like a lore-based abhuman detachment, so it's like all Ogrins and Ratlings. Just like an abhuman special forces. Freaking rattling snipers riding on the back of Ogrons. The fact that they don't wear shoes. I mean, come on.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Yeah, that's something they gotta like look into, I think. Is just being like, hey, let's make more abhumans. Let's make more variants. I mean, they just did the Crude Ox thing, right? Like where now they have like all the different Crude Ox riders. There's like the Crude Ox is designed for melee, the ones that are better for ranged. They have that weird like lizard thing now that's more of like a fast and adaptable leader mount.
It sound right, boys.
Maybe that'll be the reveal when they start showing off the Imperial Guard Codex. We'll start seeing pictures of like different types of ratlings. Like ratlings are what right now? Ratlings are snipers. Why not a demolition squad? Why not have like a really good squad of ratlings with infiltrate that have an ability like once per game? If an enemy moves within 9 inches of them or 12 inches of them, they trigger an effect similar to the Gene Stealer Cult's Demolitionist, where you just roll a dice and a bunch of D3 or and a bunch of mortal wounds occur to the squad. Like, why not?
It sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.
Maybe they can ride around in micro tanks. Decently durable, but not like amazingly durable. Interesting guns on them. The main thing is that they're just like hyper fast. Get like little go-kart vehicles. This one's bald. The other one has some hair. This one's bald. sure the stuff doesn't coffee stain. Could you imagine an Ogren in like power armor though? Like the Grey Knight power armor is just huge. It wouldn't even have guns on it. It would just be like two giant hands. Be like a Mauler fiend, but with a friggin' Ogren in the middle of it. I think that would kick ass. I feel like the rattling vehicles would all have the smoke keyword, but then they would have built in like that they don't cost CP to smoke, and they can be smoked like for free, and also when a vehicle has already been smoked. So like you could literally just have a whole army of like rattling vehicles that are just tiny, kind of weak, but can pop smoke like at all times. Super obnoxious. That would add some fun flavor to targeting, because if you have regular vehicles in that army on top of it, the trick is if you want to try to get someone to pop their smoke on their rattling vehicle first, because the way that those rules are usually read is that if a rattling vehicle pops a smoke, it could if something else popped a smoke, but it's also considered to have popped a smoke. Therefore, if you make a rattling vehicle pop a smoke, and then the person shoots on whatever else you have, like a full-on, I don't know if Layman Rooses have smoke, or like whatever a regular vehicle you'd have that has smoke, if I shoot at that, then afterwards you're not allowed to. So that creates like a fun thing. Sequencing is key, everyone. Sequencing is key. Phone call. All right. Don't know how much farther I want to push this today. Let me see if there's more leather I want to... Their upper body is mostly metal. No, they got some leather. No, yeah, dude, Ogrins are nuts. For all accounts, from everything I've read, Ogrins are like practically non-Space Marines. Like, they're just insanely strong, insanely durable. Their whole thing is that they're just insanely stupid. Or like naive or something. Like, there's a level of it where like they're just they don't retain information. But they're also incredible allies because they're very nice. This is a chainsaw flamethrower. But yeah, the understanding in most factions that involve like humans is that you really want Ogrins to be your friend. Also like Ratlings and stuff. You really want them to be your friends. Because they will go out of their way to like help you at all times. They'll put their own lives heavily on the line to ensure that you survive because you're their friend and they want their friends to be happy. That's what makes Ogrins like so cool. Because most human beings treat them like shit. It's the whole concept of abhor the mutant. Abhumans are technically mutants. So like a lot of people look down on them. But like when you're in that trench and you're fighting, you don't really care that much if it's a Ratling or an Ogre next to you. Like if they're gonna let you live because of how good they are at what they do, yeah, they're your friends. They should put Ratlings in Darktide. Just saying. Make it so that Ratlings can jump into vents, and then you could like make them go to another vent. Get you out of sticky situations easily. Well, the Ogrins also did that thing where they don't throw a grenade at someone, they throw a box of grenades at someone. But then you get the ability to have a chance every time you throw that box of grenades that they actually remembered to pull the pin. That's solid lore right there, honestly. They need to add the GSC for frickin' Darktide. The GSC are ideal for Darktide. Cause okay, take a step back and look at what you fight in Darktide as the cultists. You fight a guy who runs around with a Weber, which is notoriously a GSC weapon right now. You fight units that are snipers that are basically Talon snipers. You fight like a lot of the stuff you're interacting with, like the plague ogrins and things almost feel like abominance and abhorrence. Like I feel like they should have just went Gene Stealer Cult, but I'm guessing they assumed not many people would know who Gene Stealer Cult was, so they wouldn't want to fight him. They would think it was dumb. Whereas, like, there's a big cult following for Nurgle stuff in the 40k scene. So, like I'm still, to this day, impressed with how many people keep watching my how to build a Death Guard kill team video. Like, that video is still, like, in my top 5 of viewed videos. And that was, like, one of the first ones I made forever ago. So it's just one of those things where it's like, huh. I guess people really like Death Guard. I feel like in a Black Fortress, this is the character I'd probably play. Oh no, I left frickin' my black paint at home. I can't do this right. Which is weird. You'd think World Eaters would be more up there than Death Guard. Like, so many people just don't like where Death Guard are pretty consistently in terms of, like, their power output. Which is kind of sad. I mean, I understand why it's not Thousand Suns. Thousand Suns don't really have a lot of cool stuff. We're very limited in what we have to interact with. Whereas the Death Guard have, like, actually a metric ton of unique things meant for them. Thousand Suns are usually just like, we get Rubric Marines, a couple Sorcerers, and then things that everyone else has with 5+ invulnerable saves. And it's like, oh, okay. I see what you guys are doing. There's really not a lot going on. And it really does make me hope that we're going to see good things from the Codex release. I'm hoping we see some really interesting outcomes from that. I feel like I keep... Oh, there it is. Well, they had a pretty good overhaul. Like, they have a lot of very unique stuff. And if you look at their squads and their squad makeup, there's my Chaos Black. I don't know, Black Templar is probably a better idea for this. If you look at their squad makeup, their squads are all very unique too, which is pretty cool if you think about it. Like, they have, most of their squads are like, you get one guy with this specialty melee weapon. And that specialty melee weapon's actually really good, but like only one guy gets it. Black Templar might actually not be the best idea for this. Maybe though, we'll find out. Worst case scenario, I just go over top of it with Chaos Black instead. No, yeah, there's a kid, local kid who plays Death Guard, and like he went the triple Demon Prince system. Like he kind of figured out the same fun thing I did, where Demon Princes are more accessible than they've ever been for lists, and they are a lot stronger than you'd think. Especially when it comes to like assisting the rest of your team. Nice. Kind of want to do something here with a caution chevroning, but I don't know. Round objects with caution chevroning don't look good often. What you can do though, I don't know if I want to do it though. Hello? So yeah, Nurgle's kind of good for that. Thousand Suns are a little bit more held back. World Eaters you can make a ton of cool stuff with, though. Never underestimate how cool you can make a World Eater model. Like, a lot of the fun conversions for World Eaters comes from just the fact that apparently in every World Eaters box you get so many weapons parts that you can make like ridiculous looking weapons. Like someone made a chainsword pitchfork. That thing looked ridiculous. It was so cool. Yeah, and once you unlock the goring effect, like the Uhu glue along with red pigment, oh, once you start doing that, it's over. It's over. You're all in on them, man. They look so good with that type of stuff. It's still not dry. I can't do it yet. The Combat Patrol's nice. I'm hoping they get a new one, though. Because even though the Combat Patrol came out near the end, I don't know if they built it necessarily with Combat Patrol in mind. Although it does feel a little weak when you look at it. And I think maybe that's because they were thinking about it. Just because, like, the way Combat Patrol is, you don't really want every unit to be super powerful or every team to be super powerful. You want most of them to just have, like, lighter, weaker units that allow you to, like, see some of the rules a little bit. And that kind of feels like the World Eater Combat Patrol. At the very least, they should probably figure out if they want to make the Slaughter Brute work for World Eaters. Because that's a quick one. That's a really quick one to just be like, yep, let's greenlight it. Feels like one of those no-brainers that probably should have happened like a long time ago. Outside of that, I don't know. They already have really cool models. They have more demon engines on their army than like most. Freaking Lord of Skulls and stuff. Honestly, they might just add a couple new characters and call it a day. Things more tuned to work with jackals and stuff. And 8-bound. is it 2:42? Let me just get a little bit more done here while we wait for the Black Templar to dry a little bit. Super quick chevroning. Hell yeah. Super quick. You're probably out there right now being like, oh yeah, that then the flame will look this way or whatever. Let me put a stop to that belief right now. Pastel seafoam. That still might be too dark. Bust out that Aethermatic. If you're gonna make flame looking weird, make it actually look weird. So Aethermatic down in a lot of the area there. And we cut over to the pastel seafoam. What's up? Go for it. Catching me at the end, man. Not the end of life, based on my voice, but the end of stream. That's cool. Kimrick's blue flame. That's awesome. Boom. Doomfire magenta. How you like me now? Because why not make it weird? Try to peek it out with actual fluorescent magenta. Jesus, magenta. Take it all the way to the tippy top with, I don't know why I added more to my wet palette, fluorescent pink. Boom. Because you're probably thinking, you know, getting hit with fire, that kind of sucks. You know, try to avoid it in life. But what about weird technicolored fire? For some reason, I feel like if I got hit with this fire, it would hurt so much more. Like there's something about it that's making me think, man, I would really prefer to get hit with regular fire over rainbow fire. do feel like we're going to hit this with Nihilic Oxide as well. I want it to look dangerous that she's using it. Like, I want it to look, like, really old. It's like every time you pull the trigger, you're basically praying to the machine god that that thing doesn't just explode in your hand. But we are coming to the end of the stream. Thanks to everyone who decided to pop in near the end and say hi. Always good to see faces. Love it, love it. But we've done our 3 hours today. Working towards getting these Black Fortress characters finished. There we go. There's much more to do for this one, the Fanatic. We got a lot to work on. With the Eldari Ranger, pretty solid. I might want to work up her power weapon a little more. I don't know. It's like kind of good, but I kind of want to like peak some areas a little bit. Maybe fix it up. Let me change the focus for you guys. Get some good close-ups. Yeah. All gemstoned out. Super fun. And finished up the crew. The basing's got to dry, so the basing's still white. But I feel like we've gone pretty good distance. I like this Kroot. I haven't painted a Kroot before. It's good that we painted this one, because I have my whole buddy's Farstalker Kinband to paint. It's cool to at least see some of the elements of them. He was cool. Yeah, we got more to do. Working on the Rattlings, working on the Fanatic. We'll probably try to finish the Fanatic next. Servo Pope's pretty far in, but I feel like we need to tone a lot of his armor. Because just doing like raw gold like this is kind of shit. Like, you really want to hit it with something. Like, I'm probably going to try to shade it with, like, a purple, maybe. I don't know. There's also some inlay in it that I might just do contrast over metal to give it, like, a nice kind of metallic swirly look. Is good. We can work on Servo Pope. We haven't even touched the Rogue Trader himself. I gotta make some decisions with him. I haven't really gone straight Luxion purple, I don't think, on most of these units. Although the Navigator's kind of Luxion purple. Although we might try a Shyish purple. We might go dark on the armor. Like, darker than usual. Do like the Leviathan blue exterior and then like a Shyish purple interior. Interior. That could be good. I think it'd be nice. A lot of fun stuff we can do with this. Getting there, though. Combat Arena unit's almost done. I gotta get moving. I gotta pack for my game on Sunday. We went over the army list here. It was pretty weird, but I can't wait to try it out. It'll probably lose, but I'll at least have fun losing. Or I'll stomp him into the ground and I'll be like, I should go to a tournament soon before this luck runs out. But yep, hopefully video Monday. Fingers crossed for that. I'm going to try to record it tonight. As you can hear, my voice is messed up. So I don't know if it's going to actually be done. I've been sick the past like 5 days. It peaked yesterday, and I feel like it's getting okay today. So we'll see what happens. Till next week, guys. I might stream Monday. I don't know. Schedule's still weird until maybe later next month. Till next time.